Hello, welcome to Safe Settings again. I am Flourish Adidamala Balami.
I'm Grace Okoro.
I'm Kezia Fasoya.
So you're welcome. Today we want to look at how do people effect change? How do you achieve an effective change? Like sometimes people want a different kind of life, or you have a desired state. How do you move from your present state to your desired state? That's change. Like if you look at the definition of change, we'll say it's to make something different,
To do something new.
to evolve, to make something better, to have a new experience, better experience, or to replace with another thing. Maybe there's something you have, you now want to replace that thing with another thing entirely. So that's basically change. And we have got to realize that willpower, strong will, resolution, it doesn't necessarily achieve this change. Right?
Yeah.
Because you notice that sometimes people will make New Year resolution and 4 weeks down the line, it started shaking. By the end of 2 months, it looks as if it's not working. To experience a lasting change, it's important that we do 3 things. We raise our standards. How do we raise our standards? We raise our standards by not focusing on the negative. You understand? We have to focus on how we relate with the negative experience, not focusing on how we will change the negative experience. So, you know how our minds work. So if you want, like when we want to make affirmation now, you say, I don't eat too much. Your mind registers it as, I eat too much. Instead, you focus on how you want to relate with that negative experience. So, I measure my food. It's not the same thing as you don't eat too much.
Mm-hmm.
Of course it is. So we raise our standards. Then we develop our character. And then we pursue personal growth through self-education. And that's why we're here today, to discuss all these aspects. So for the purpose of this discussion, we'll look at change in 4 different areas. The first area is maturity. What does it mean to be matured? When you say someone is matured, why will you look at someone and say they are matured?
Okay, before we can use the word maturity for an individual, it means that you're familiar with that person. And we can say maturity is growth. Being better from what you used to be before. So we can liken that to maturity.
Like when you take responsibility. Yeah. Before you weren't taking responsibility. Now you are taking responsibility for
your action.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you are taking responsibility for everything you can do something about. So I desire change. Okay, I want to have better grades. What responsibility am I taking for it? Can we discuss that aspect now? Okay. So change in terms of maturity, taking responsibility for everything that is within our power to do.
You said we should look at the part of our studies, right?
Yeah, maybe. Okay. If you have other areas
you want. Let's just throw it to that angle. As a student, probably you've been studying for, let's say, an hour a day. The timing, the environment where you sit and study, is it noisy? So you look at the results you've gotten from staying in that environment and studying for just 1 hour, and other factors surrounding that. Okay, when you look at the result and you discover that you're not getting what you desire, the results are not encouraging, then you can change your ways of studying.
So you take responsibility for it.
You're taking responsibility.
Like, what can I do about this?
Yes, to make it better. So that's where change comes in.
So, Gio, another aspect of the 4 factors is the decisiveness. When you take timely and effective decision.
Yeah.
Life is about choices and decision making. So to effect change from a state we are into another, another focus area is to take timely and effective decisions.
different,
How do
yeah.
you?
Well, let me add that change is the only constant in life. We keep transforming from one level to the other, and we have to adapt to it. The way we adapt to it helps our overall well-being. But you find out that a lot of people are not able to take a decisive,
Step.
to adapt to this change. So that's where the problem comes in. But if you want to effect a good change, you have to make sure that you take a good decision. First of all, you have to even know what to change.
Exactly.
Yeah. You have to know what you want to change, and then you make plans towards it.
Yeah.
And then you decide how you want to go about it. And once you have taken that decision, you stick to it. You make out ways to really carry it out.
It has to be decided on.
Yeah.
And
First of all, knowing it.
Know it.
Yeah.
And the decision has to be timely. Not
Timely.
that I'll change.
A lot of people keep saying I will. It's just like when we start the year, a lot of people they say New Year resolution, and they write out so many points, things they want to do. At the end of the day, they go halfway
and it stops. The fire stops burning.
The first month they just stop it.
And that leads us to the next area of focus, which is consistency. So another factor that shows that somebody is actually effecting positive change, or the change is effective, is when they are consistent to a cause for a long time. It's not enough that you have taken timely decision. Another thing is, how consistent are you going to be?
Yeah.
And different things will come, pressure. Sometimes it's difficult. Growth is painful sometimes.
It is.
And every growth comes with change. So how do we stay consistent despite the pain and all? These are areas of focus when we're discussing change. Another thing is the strength of character. Positivity, enthusiasm, forbearance, state of being physically strong and well. It's also important for us to achieve change. Like someone that says they want to lose weight, but then they are on anti-malaria like every month. It's an enough excuse to never, right?
Yeah.
To never do it. So we must have come across people who demonstrated these attributes: decisiveness, maturity, consistency,
flexibility.
How do you view them when you see them compared to when you see someone who is doing the exact opposite? How do you esteem them when you come across them?
Yes, I would say such person should have put in the work. Now, a lot of times we admire the crown, then we forget about the scar, the wound, the challenges. So when we desire the successes of others, we should know that over time they have changed their mindsets, they have changed their personality, they have changed their approach to things. So a lot of things. So we should focus on ourselves. What can we change? Then we can as well reach out to those people. Okay, when you were transiting through this season,
what were the things you did?
Exactly. What are those even challenges you encountered?
Not that nothing is happening in your life.
Exactly. Now we should understand that when we decide that we want to change, it's like you're welcoming challenges. And these are the things that makes us mature. These are the things that brings about growth, development in us. So you can go as far as learning new skills. You can go as far as learning how to do things better. So there is just a lot, layers and layers of responsibilities that you have to take. Change don't happen like that. It takes time. And another thing is that you have to take it one step at a time.
All right, thank you. I'm going to hold your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold your thoughts. Grace, she said she'll just look at them like there are so many things that they need to do. They need to become responsible. They need to. But sometimes when I look at someone, like, let me share an experience. Someone says, I really need to. I want to change my car. I want to relocate from where I'm living presently. I want to move to a new area. I need to make more money. And as the person was talking, I looked at her and I said, it looks like you have a lot of time in your hand that you are not really applying. Why not think of a side hustle? Like something you can sell, something you can, to like some form of business. Immediately the guy retorted, I'm not a business kind of person. That's like, so how do I esteem him in terms of the change that he desires? He has a present state where he feels he's not making enough money. He has a desired lifestyle, but he's not willing to shift, So at that point, I didn't think I had much to say to him, because he already has said that he does not have the capacity to do business. So he probably was looking for the change by staying on 9 to 5 and all.
Well, like she said, a lot of people want the crown, but they don't want the pain. Some people want to do something, they want to change, but they don't want to go through the process. There's always a process when you're doing anything, and then when I see people that set out to change and they really carry it out, I admire them. I respect them.
Yeah.
I see them as trustworthy people, that these people can really say something and they keep at it, they follow through. And then one thing I noticed about people that like change is they're not flexible. For you to be able to carry out a change, you have to be flexible. There was a lady I was speaking with, and she had this very uptight character. She's so uptight, and when you talk to her to change, you say, no, this is how I've always been. That is me. I try to let her know that, no, you have to change, because people won't love you. And she's not married. Men don't like people who are uptight. You have to work on yourself. You have to change it, And then another thing I notice is that you have to learn. Keep learning. You have to learn, get mentors, people you can gain something from. You find out how others did it, and you learn from that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think we need to actually be flexible if we have to change, because everything about life is about change.
It's fluid. It's fluid.
We keep
Change,
transforming.
like you said, change is the only constant thing.
Exactly.
So the way people were managing finances 2 years ago, I'm sure this year people have learned to manage finances in a different way. Even you that believe that you are so good with loud spending, something has changed, because so pressure comes and it causes us to make adjustments. So if we have a desired state, we'll look at where we are and count the cost of what will take us to that desired state. So from our present state, regardless of what you've done or who you are, when you take full responsibility of your character, you would experience transformation. That's why Gio said transformation is something continuous.
It's key,
So the change that you look for in how people relate to you in terms of relationship is within you.
True.
That when we were talking the other time, Kezia said, what you give out most of the time is what comes back to you. You want to expatiate on that?
Okay, let me start with I would like to say that change also comes with compromise. It comes with sacrifice. So a lot of time we don't want to put in the work. So if you're not ready to put in the work, then we should not expect results. We shouldn't expect results at all. So you were talking about, sorry again?
If the change that you want is within you.
Okay. So a lot of people, they have difficulty relating with others. Now, The thing is, the focus shouldn't be on the other person. The focus should be on you first. Okay, what can I do to make this relationship healthier? What can I do? There should be something about you. Don't focus. Where we get it wrong is that most of them want to focus on what people are not doing right. Why not focus on yourself? Try to change yourself. In fact, most of the time when we change ourselves, the other person don't even need you to tell him or her what to do. Once they can sit and study, oh, there's something about this person that has changed. Then they will have to, they will think about what they can also do to make the relationship better. So we have to focus on ourselves, correct things that need to be corrected, and from there you can pick it up. Then you have a smoother relationship with
others.
person.
So there's a way you behave that actually just informs other people how to behave around you.
Sure. Let me make this narrative. I think in church when they were talking about this, something similar to this. So I cited an example. I said, if you enter the commercial bus in Lagos City, then you have to have this encounter with conductors every now and then.
Yeah.
Yes.
The story of
They can
Lagos.
make you go crazy, they can make you go gaga.
The story of Lagos.
So when they let me use the word, like the madness, when they started with conversations, silly talks, insults here and there, a lot of times, if we can do that, just sit back, face your front, and pretend as if he's not even talking to you at all. Once he start talking and talking, he will look at himself. A time will come that
the person is not even responding.
he will keep quiet. But once you start exchanging the words,
You are feeling it.
Exchanging words with him. Oh, it will go on
And on till you
on.
till you are light up from the
Yes.
from the vehicle.
It should start from you. Keep quiet, give him the silent treatment, and let's see what happens from there.
So when you hear develop your character, it simply means take more responsibility. Be more responsible.
Exactly.
So the relationship that we want, that we're not getting from others, is not necessarily because the relationship is not available. It is that we ourselves have not even become so conscious of what we want that we're not even able to live it, Change requires resisting well-established patterns, A person will not change, or they will not experience psychological or a lasting behavioral change unless they first make the decision to change. So that responsibility lies on us. Another thing that can now hold people back from changing, apart from taking the decision to change, is belief system. What people choose to believe about themselves. Like we have shared the example of that person. Another thing is when you hear people say, I can't dance. What other things? I can't learn. No, I've stopped reading. No, I can't. At this age, I can no longer. I can't.
One thing I get there is that we have to understand that there's nothing that cannot change. There's nothing you can't change, especially if you trust God too. We said when we started, you have to recognize what needs to be changed, especially in our relationships. You have to recognize it and find out, why is this thing not working? Why am I always having a row with my partner? Why am I always having issues with people? Like you said, you have to look inwards. Don't always think that a problem is with the next person. You have to find out what you can change about yourself. And when you change that thing, you find out that other things will fall into place.
They fall into place. Like you said, it's scriptural that the path of a righteous man shines brighter and brighter. So why brighter? It's bright. It's bright, but it has to be brighter.
Exactly.
Is that not an example of change? Transformation.
Transformation.
So change is just something constant, and
Exactly.
even God endorses change. So if it's usually starts with an idea, those belief systems, It starts with an idea, then a thought, and that thought will lead to an emotion. The emotion now forms the belief that we need to first visit the idea if we're going to achieve a change.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, an idea, somebody drops the idea in your head, you don't even know how to dance, or you dance somewhere and you fail, or something happens, and then once that thing happens, it creates a thought, maybe because of the experience, reactions that you got as a result of that. It now forms a thought, and the thought becomes an emotional thing. So there must be an emotion attached to that belief that makes it difficult to let go. So before we can achieve that change, it's important that we visit that emotion. So when we visit the idea and how it has progressed, then we're able to, achieve a changed perception. So when the person's perception has now changed about the situation, then they can start taking steps. So it's a process like that. To develop positive character in these 4 areas will require us to compare what we think we know to what others know. Like you both have rightly said, you cannot just stick to your disempowering belief as the only reality. I'm not a 9 to 5 kind of person. You can't stick to your disempowering belief as the only reality. A belief will always exist until something is brought, something better to replace it. So I would have said let's share our experiences on disempowering belief, but let's just go on. Despite the fact that we have discussed disempowering beliefs as things that can affect how we effect change, another thing, we still have roadblocks. There are other roadblocks to effecting changes, like when you focus on what you have to give up instead of what you will gain. Are you saying I will not be eating two times? Are you saying, I cannot, when you're just focusing on this has to go, that has to go, then you won't be able to effect change. Another thing is not being aware. Like she said, Kezia, and when you don't even know that you need to change, she was the one that said,
you have to
you're pointing fingers. Gio, you want to explain? When people are pointing fingers, that is that person, is that person.
Exactly. And let me use a marital relationship. Between a man and a woman, or a wife and a husband, most times the wife will say, "He's my husband," just like Adam and Eve. When Eve took the apple and gave it to the husband, and God asked, and God now said,
"Who did it?" Who did it?
God came and said, "What happened? Why are you hiding?" Eve's Adam said, "It was when the woman you gave to me." And God asked Eve, "What happened?" He said, "Is the serpent." So most times we want to make other people pay for what we are responsible. We want to make them
to absorb ourselves of the responsibility.
Exactly.
And so we are not even aware that there is a need for change.
Exactly.
And it affects us. So as long as you think the change lies in other people, you're not going to change.
Yeah. So like I was saying about marital relationship, when a man and a woman, maybe they are having issues, the woman is always pointing fingers. It's like, "Oh, it's my husband. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that." Or the man too is like, "It's my wife. She doesn't do this or she doesn't do that." But I found out that most times it has to be like you said. You have to look inwards. Find out, how do I change this? How do I make it better? How do I put things in place, starting with me? So it has to start with us.
It has to start with us. Another roadblock to change is when we are changing under pressure. Kezia, New Year resolution.
A lot of times, when you coerce people to do things, they don't follow through.
Then you coerce yourself to do.
Let it flow. Let it come naturally. So that is when we know that, I can follow through. But when you put yourself under pressure, you just want to do it. You like it's not coming naturally the way it should. It is key that it might not happen.
Mm-hmm.
It might not happen.
Because you don't even understand why you're doing it.
Exactly.
You are sure doing it like this must be done.
Exactly.
Or they said we should do it.
You're under pressure.
So
you have to enjoy it.
Yeah, another thing is when we don't have sufficient confidence, lack of confidence and support,
And fear.
and fear.
Yeah.
I want to change, but am I sure? Can I do it? If can I actually change my career? What will happen if I change my career? What if the other one does not work for me? What if? And because of those what ifs, we don't take the steps to effect change. Now, there are highways to effective change. There are highways to effecting a low maintenance change. I always like to say low maintenance because it's not pressure now. You are doing it and So the first thing here is to have knowledge. Identify what is happening by asking questions, like Gio said. And you identify the benefit of the change. So you're not focusing on this thing, I have to change it. What do you stand to gain? A lot of the time when we're taking decisions, we should do SWOT analysis, right? What are the weaknesses? What are the benefits? What are the threats? How will it help? The second thing is reflection. When you acknowledge the importance of you changing and you decide that you want to change.
Let me quickly add to that. You have to also get a feedback.
Identify the gaps.
Identify the gap. You get a feedback from someone. Let's assume, like you mentioned, you want to change your weight. You go to your friend and say, how do I look? And find out if you're actually making progress. And if you're not, then you still have to work on it. You understand? So you have to reflect on the feedback you get.
So basically, when you are you want to change weight now, you have accountability partner.
Exactly.
That knows, okay, this is what you weigh. This is what you desire to weigh. And have they seen any changes? Olga, since I've been eating vegetables for the past 3 weeks, can you see anything or am I still looking the same? It's important too. And then reflector, to acknowledge the importance of you changing. Okay, we have said that. Then identify the gaps. We have said that. Then another thing, where you have now, you apply it here. You interpret everything that you have gathered. And when you interpret it, you start making that change. Now, to make change is one thing. To decide is one thing. To stay committed
is another thing,
Because you've been mentioning, start small. Start small. Start small.
Like when we were discussing earlier, you mentioned transition. That changes has to do with transition. Now it's you have to take a step at a time.
Good.
Take a step at a time. Like I mentioned earlier that you have witnessed the success of some people and you admire it so much. You feel so much admiration. Okay, what should you do? So a lot of times we need to learn how to leverage on the experience
of others,
so that your scars will not be much. Of course, scars will come if you want to get a crown.
Unless you learn by the things you suffer.
You have to go through it. But the path to follow, how to meander, you can leverage on the experiences of people. So easily you were like, ask yourself questions. Then I said, okay, there are some questions you have to say, you don't even have the answers. So what do? Go to those people
and get the answers.
Ask them questions. Ask them questions. When they were in this season of their life, how did they meander through that season? What did they get from it? How did they go through it? So when we get all this information, we have a better self.
It helps us. It helps us. And when we're saying learn from other people's experience, it will be by following them online. Attending their seminars, their workshops, reading their books.
Very important.
Biographies.
I think if you ask me, I would say that we should meet with that person. This reading online is not.
No, actually, there are some people you admire that you want to look like, that you can't reach.
See, there
So
are
you
some
can
details
also,
that you need
yeah,
that online will not give you, tech
yes,
will not give you. So if you so much desire to be like somebody, and the person is in New Jersey, is in Europe,
yeah,
leave them.
yeah.
Look around you.
Okay.
There are some people around you that you can really reach out to in person. See, there are some
So
things
I think you are talking in terms of mentorship.
Exactly.
So
yes, that
get
exactly,
mentors.
exactly.
You know, while you are which is good. You
Mhm.
know, when you have mentors, it's like you're standing on the shoulders of people that have gone ahead
that
of
are
you.
there already.
And so giving you the shoulders makes you see further.
Exactly.
While you're at it, even a mentor will direct you to certain books that have mentored the mentor.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Of course.
certain programs that the mentor
Of
too
course.
has. So I guess you,
Yeah.
I
Like
get
you mentioned that
what you say.
knowledge is important.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Let me
Knowledge
also
is
quickly
important.
add that when you plan out how to make the desirable changes, you have to reward yourself.
exactly.
Mm.
When you
Celebrate
make
your wins.
yeah, celebrate your win.
Mm.
Every little success you make,
Mm.
celebrate it. You don't have to wait until you have made it so big.
Mm.
Celebrate the little success.
You, I know you have success to celebrate. Don't let it pass us by. Don't let it pass us by. After this show, let us celebrate that win. All right. And
Yeah.
finally, developing confidence to go after whatever desired state
Yes.
you have is important.
Yes.
So be confident. Okay, you have something.
Okay, I want to, like you mentioned, confidence. You have to be confident in yourself. Like, know what you want, go for it. A lot of people will pull you down.
Mm,
A lot of people will talk you out of it.
mm,
But once you make that
Decision.
and you're consistent with whatever it is. In fact, a lot of people will tell you this part I've gone through it before. No, you cannot.
They may want to
You cannot
discourage
get
you.
to the end of it.
Mm.
But you can take their words.
mm,
Like I would say, take the straw, chew it, chew the straw, and spit out the sticks.
mm.
Do you understand? Fine, you've been there before, but let me go through it. No, at least you have your strategy, you have your system,
Yeah.
right? So because they went through it and they did not succeed doesn't mean you will go through it and you will succeed.
Mm.
Yeah,
The thing is,
right.
we should identify ourselves.
That's
Mm.
true.
Be confident in
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
So
That's
with
part
all
of the
this-
conscious awareness.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So a lot of people, in fact, in this world, in this Nigeria that we have, they will talk you out. A lot of things.
Sha, they will cancel you. Just if you do not, amen. No, if you do not develop the confidence. So we're saying develop confidence, be confident enough to pursue your dreams, to go after that desired state and make the change. Every change, every growth comes with change. Change can be painful, but the other side of change
You
is
love
also
it.
so
Growth and development.
yeah, and it's pleasurable, it's glorious. So and we have said that scripturally the path of adjustment, the path of a righteous man shines brighter and brighter. So God endorses change. On this note, I would say give yourself grace to grow, to develop, and to make that change.
Well, let me just say that you have to recognize the need to change, make plans and preparation for it, and then celebrate your wins.
Yeah, I would like to say, fine, you admire the crown, but prepare yourself, get ready for the scars, because they will come if you want to effect change.
The scars, celebrating wins, and giving yourself grace. On this note, we say bye for now.
Bye.